This is a compilation video of a bunch of clips I've taken as I've recreated a 2000s era Jaguar trim piece for one of my clients. I hope you get something from it. So one of the reasons why I was approached to try and create this recreation footwell piece is just because of how hard it is to find them. And when you do find them, the costs. So, £25 for that part, which is reasonable for one, I guess, £50. But the thing that gets me is if you look here, international tracked and signed postage, it's £140. Or £139.99, £140 plus another 25. £165 for that part. Now, that's not even in the best condition. I get it because you can't find them anymore. So I went on a hunt. I've looked in a bunch of different sites, couldn't find them. Google searched it, found this Jaguar Palm Beach in Florida, currently not available. This is a different part from somewhere else in Lithuania. 42 euros. Postage doesn't reflect where I live. I'm in Australia. We look at the kick trim panel or kick panel trim, all these different options. Again, we look at the details and it's a discontinued product. The point being, if you've got a 98 to 2003-ish era Jag, even in Australia, Carthouse Jaguar spares. Footwell trim, I tried searching under the codes, couldn't find anything. So really, you're out of luck. If you bust one of these, you're in trouble. Which is why I was asked to help. So a little while ago, I was asked to capture recreate a Jaguar trim piece for, I think it's a 1999 or 2000 XJ6 Jaguar. So it's in the lower, or in the footwell, there's a trim piece that right by where the door goes. And on one side, the piece had been broken a bit, and on the driver's side, it had been utterly shattered, totally broken. Anyway, my mechanic from Above Board Auto was unable to find a replacement piece for the right-hand side. In looking, I found some replacement parts from England that were second-hand, looked pretty rough, and were really expensive. Anyway, so Chris is doing, the mechanic is doing work for my Stag conversion. We've been talking about some of the other things I've been doing, and he asked me if I could have a crack, and I'm very keen to start doing 3D scanning and modelling of parts you just can't get easily. Anyway, so this is the part. You can see the details here. So for you to look at, this is actually the scan of the part. You can see the dots that I've put on, marker dots for the scanner. I had a lot of trouble scanning this. Mainly just because it's very thin with very limited features, but the marker dots helped heaps. And I used my Einstar Vega, which is this scanner. Really did a great job. I was very happy with the outcome. It's a bit challenging, and it was one of the first things I did with that scanner, so had a bit to learn. But as you can see, I mean, that's a pretty good texture and result. If we look at it without the texture on, the detail's decent. You can really make out where the crack was, and even marks where there was glue that had been used to fix up the marker. Now, I didn't spend ages on this scan, so I was always intending to remake the object in Fusion, which is exactly what I did. So I'm pretty familiar with 3D modeling software, but I really like Blender, Maya, things like that. But I really wanted to get my head around Fusion for more complex shapes, and just generally I like the accuracy and the ability to constrain things and whatever else. So I started off creating importing the scan as a mesh and using it as a guide to build the object with, as you can see. I then thickened that into a body, and I added, so here it is, you can see it's now thicker, and what I did was I added some ribs for strength, noting that the last piece had been broken. I felt that it could be wise just to add a little bit of additional rigidity to help prevent warping, and also, just as I say, provide a bit of extra strength. So I'm really happy with the final results of the Jaguar kick shield, or whatever it's called, or the trim piece down in the footwell. I'll show you the pictures of the work in progress. What I'm really pleased about, just the quality of the print that I've ended up getting. So it's the same all over. You can see that there's a little bit of a kind of surface texture to it. You can also see inside the ribs for a bit of extra strength. It's got a bit of flex to it, which is really good, particularly where it is. I'll talk more on that in a second. So I'm really happy. So when I did the test fit, as you saw before, the mechanic, Chris, at Above Board Auto, was commenting on just wanting it to sit a little bit tighter at the back corner where this particular surface was on the test fit, right? So what I did, I'd already made it in Fusion, and rather than with the forms and I'd already transitioned from a form to a body, so that I didn't want to go back in and stuff around there. So what I did in Blender was just basically use some soft selection to just drag it down a bit, so that edge. So that's this corner down here, and you can see when I reveal the other one, this is the original part is lower, and the new, is higher, and the new part is lower. So what I did is I reduced the bend, so hopefully that corner will sit a bit tighter. I haven't done another test fit. I've just hoped it will work, and I will get some photos and some footage of that when we test fit it. I also went for grey colour. This one's going to be painted by Chris, a beige colour that matches the interior trim of that particular Jag. And rather than going white, which can make paints when you paint over the top a bit brighter, noting that a lot of undercoats are a neutral colour like grey, I've opted for grey with the print, hoping that that might lead to a more accurate colour match. Now, I've printed this in TEPG. Most or a lot of people print interior parts with ABS or ASA. Now, ABS and ASA, which this is ABS, and well, that's carbon fibre, but anyway, most ABS and ASA are good for 90 to 95 degrees centigrade before they deform. PETG is good for up to about 70 degrees Celsius, by the way, we're talking. So, and as I've said before, these pieces are going to be sitting low in the footwell, not in direct sun. So I feel, and I live in a place that gets to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius almost every summer or close to it. I feel that 70 degrees out of direct sunlight is fine. The reason I went with PETG is it is more resistant to knocks and bangs and impacts. So ASA and ABS are more rigid, but by definition, therefore, over time, they're more likely to break from an impact. Whereas the beauty of PETG is the ability to flex and give a bit more. Now, my thinking, is that noting this is sitting right in the edge of the door, people are getting in and out of the car all the time, and are going to be knocking umbrellas, canes, their feet, bags, all that sort of stuff against these. And again, noting that the reason I'm doing this is because both sides of this piece in the car I'm doing the job for, have been broken on one side and totally shattered on the other side by people just knocking it over time. So I feel that PETG is likely to give a longer life because it's stiff enough, particularly with the ribs I've added. But more to the point, it's got that flex and give to absorb impacts, and it will hopefully last longer. If you've got any thoughts on that, let me know. Obviously, more than happy to print versions of this for different people in ASA or ABS, or even nylon infused with carbon fibre. Just depends what you want. But I kind of felt that for a cost perspective and long-term resilience perspective, that PETG was the way to go. Anyway, came out really good. You can see they've still got the shape that the original has, but just slightly reduced, as I said, on this corner. And the beauty of that is, as the PETG is bolted into place, that will just sit nice and flush against the back corner where it goes. But yeah, I'm really happy. Work came out really nicely. It's really clean print. It really was the limit of my current printer in terms of size, but that's pretty good. So this is the final install on the Jaguar itself. Really happy with how it turned out. You can see it's fitting in pretty flush. It's nice on the carpet. And this is the other side. Looking really good, sitting in nicely, and this will be painted by the mechanic. So I'm going to be putting these up for sale, unpainted initially. It doesn't have, well, it won't have the clips. So if you've got a Jaguar, keep the clips if your part is broken, because you can just put them on these. The little brackets are in exactly the same spot, so it should fit fine. It doesn't have the padding. You're welcome to stick yours on. As I said, we've done test fits, and even with the strengthening ribs, it fits fine. And I've explained why I've gone for this material. So I guess I just wanted to give some context as to why we've done this print, and why I'm really interested, sorry about the background noise, why I'm really keen to help branch out into other pieces, because I want to see these beautiful cars, this era and older, where you just can't find the pieces, or you know, you're spending a lot of money for a damaged part. So look, if you have an interest in one of these, drop me a line. It will be going up on my website shortly, which will be coming. And if you've got other parts that you would like a recreation of, and you want to discuss the materials that it should be in, as I say, everything from PETG to ASA, ABS, which is the standard interior trim. So if it's going to be a dash piece or anything where there's high heat or sunlight or UV rays, I will be using ASA or as a minimum. If you want interesting finishes, there's things like nylon infused with carbon or glass fiber if you want some colour. You know, and these kick shields that I've designed in PETG will be in all sorts of different colours. Things like black or white I can do using the PETG. If you don't want to paint it, then I can't guarantee a colour match. I can get something that's close based on what's available in PETG colours, and I can work with you to find something close. Maybe you don't care if it's painted or not. Down the track, if I get enough Jaguar trim pieces, I'll build up a library of paint, but I will have to charge a smidge extra. Keep an eye on the store, and let me know if there's something that's really hard to get for your car that you'd like me to recreate.